This is a Sony Walkman, an iconic piece of tech from the 70s that should be long forgotten. It was supposed to be obsolete, replaced by CDs, MP3 players, and streaming. But somehow, against all odds, it's back. Retro tech is everywhere. Wristwatches, flip phones, vinyl, film cameras, and now cassette tapes? Why, in a world of unlimited content at our fingertips, are people turning back to this? At first,
why indeed? Well, for one reason, it's to get away from all those ads that are all over, other equipment, what have to do with computers, phones. But then why not CD players? CD players don't have ads on them, so I'm curious to know what the reason is.
First, I thought the answer was simple: nostalgia, retro aesthetics. But the deeper I looked, the more I realized it's about something much bigger, something we lost along the way. But what exactly did we lose, and how could the Walkman help us find it? To figure that out, I bought a Walkman from eBay. It turned out to be much harder and much more expensive to acquire than I thought. This one cost me $250, and it's from 2004. And when it arrived, it didn't even have batteries. I quickly discovered that it needed
batteries. Oh yeah, forgot about those things. What a time that was. What a time.
These special gumstick batteries, which took some effort to find and even more effort to charge. Once the battery situation was sorted, another problem arose. I didn't own any cassette tapes, so I bought those too. And I loaded up a Guardians of the Galaxy mixtape, and
so you can get tapes still with new stuff on them? Okay.
Suddenly, I was transported back in time. Holding the Walkman for the first time was fascinating. Despite a few scratches, it showed up in great condition.
I never liked those Walkman headphones. It's a good thing you can always replace them with something better.
Although the controls feel completely foreign compared to today's tech. Instead of a digital volume wheel, there's a slider offering only 3 settings: quiet, loud, and super loud. Finding the right listening volume wasn't exactly easy. There's also an aux port on top, and on the side there's this mechanical roller for rewinding, fast forward, and play and pause. Mine even arrived with this vintage sticker claiming long play, 84 hours, which must have seemed impressive back in the day, though I haven't tested the claim yet. And to complete the retro vibe, I grabbed these original style COS retrospect headphones. They look great. They really
stick with the new headphones, man. That shit felt so uncomfortable, man.
Nail the nostalgia, but honestly, modern headphones like the Sony XM4s are much better and provide
she understands
a better listening experience too. The vintage headphones leak audio badly, and well, they sounded distinctly 1979. Yet pairing a old Walkman with new headphones made me reflect on how far technology has advanced, yet also how some experiences never truly lose their charm. The simple act of loading a tape, pressing play, and carefully adjusting the controls felt completely different than tapping an app on my phone. Suddenly, I wasn't just listening, I was truly paying attention. And that's when it clicked. This comeback isn't about sound quality or convenience, it's about something deeper, something meaningful that we've lost. So in this video, we'll explore the Walkman's surprising return, how it reshaped society, and why, despite endless music choices today, people are rediscovering cassette tapes. But
that must only be in America, because I don't see no one where I'm from rocking no Walkmans. They got their phones out looking down, as always.
Fully understand this comeback, let's rewind to see how the Walkman changed everything in the first place. You might not own a Walkman, but you live in a world that it created. In 1979, music was everywhere. People walked around with boom boxes on their shoulders, radios blasted openly, and TVs played loudly. Music wasn't personal, it was public, shared, and it definitely wasn't on demand. You waited by the radio, hoping that your favorite song would play. But Sony accidentally changed everything. It started when Sony's co-founder Masaru Ibuka wanted to listen to opera on long flights. The only option at the time was the Sony Pressman, a large cassette recorder used by journalists, not exactly portable or comfortable. Seeing this, Sony's chairman, Akio Morita, had an idea. What if we stripped out the recording and made it smaller, lighter, more personal? Sony went to work, and on July 1st, 1979, the world changed forever. Sony launched a device called the TPS-L2. It didn't have the iconic Walkman name yet, and initially, sales were slow. But then Sony took a different approach. Instead of traditional ads, they put the device directly into journalists' hands. Imagine being handed this small box, pressing play, and suddenly hearing music clearly through headphones. For the
Gotta say, it was pretty fun back then when you couldn't compare it to better things headphone-wise. Because this digital stuff with all these ads all over the place, oh man, it's annoying now.
first time, music wasn't tied to a room or speakers. It was yours and it moved with you. And today, that's normal. In 1979, it was revolutionary. By the second month, Sony couldn't keep up. They sold all 30,000 units that they produced. But the Walkman wasn't loved by everyone. People quickly realized that this device wasn't just changing music, it was changing society. For the first time, individuals could isolate themselves by controlling.
That's where it began. Yes, the old, I don't want you to talk to me because I'm in my moment of peace and tranquility. Get away from me, everyone. Get away.
Controlling what they heard. One town in New Jersey even banned the Walkman, believing that it caused accidents and made people antisocial. And this became
So far back then, ain't nothing changed with the new technology. Glad to know or not glad to know?
known as the Walkman effect. Sony briefly experimented with adding 2 headphone jacks, a feature they called Hotline to encourage social listening, but it didn't catch on. Instead, Sony doubled down on making the Walkman look cool.
Oh yeah, the social listening thing was pretty cool.
Within a decade, the Walkman wasn't just a music player, it was a cultural icon, selling over 400 million units worldwide. But the Walkman's impact didn't end there. It sparked a chain reaction, paving the way for iPods, smartphones, and the unlimited digital content we enjoy today. Yet with everything at our fingertips, why is the Walkman making a comeback now? To really understand this comeback, we have to first look at why cassette tapes declined in the first place. Throughout the 90s and early 2000s, CDs rapidly replaced tapes. They offered clearer sound quality, better convenience, and easier navigation. You could jump to any song instantly. Soon after, MP3 players.
Yeah, you couldn't jump to any music with Walkman. You had to listen from beginning to end. But for an artist, that's okay because yeah, we can listen to repetitive stuff all the time. We have patience, man. Gotta have patience.
Especially the iPod, made things even simpler. Music libraries became portable, digital, and seemingly endless. It felt like the final chapter for cassette tapes. But now, tapes have found new life. Not because they're superior, because they're not, but precisely because they're less convenient. That intentional inconvenience is exactly why some people are ditching streaming for cassettes today. In today's world of unlimited streaming, music has become disposable. We skip songs midway, we shuffle endlessly, and we let algorithms decide what.
I can feel that pain. But then again, I still listen to music from start to finish. You know, full albums, unlike these new people.
We hear next. All we say is, oh, play Taylor Swift, and that's it. But the Walkman forces you to listen differently. Using the Walkman, I rarely skipped songs. It made me commit to entire albums, enjoying each song intentionally the way the artist intended. It wasn't background noise, it was purposeful listening. Now Spotify offers infinite choices driven by algorithms. You close the app and your experience resets. It's designed to keep you constantly engaged but rarely fully present. A cassette tape, on the other hand, picks up exactly where you left off. No algorithms, no notifications, no distractions, just music. If you want,
That's pretty cool that it actually did that. But there is pluses and there's minuses.
a specific song, you rewind the tape carefully and deliberately. The Walkman is a single-use device, pure music. No temptation to swipe, browse, or multitask. It feels like taking a tech vacation, a break.
Yeah, multitasking is what people are doing now, which means no one cares about anything. They're just always doing something. That's kind of bad for society, but I guess that's just what happens eventually with technology. The more technology we get, the more lazy and uninterested we become. So we gotta do something about it, don't you think?
From the digital overwhelm. So people aren't returning to the Walkman because tapes are better, more convenient, but maybe we miss having control. Maybe we're tired of trusting algorithms designed to turn billion-dollar companies into multi-billion-dollar companies. We miss being present, not just for our music.
Not only that, at least with the Walkman, you actually own it, and the cassette. When you're doing the digital thing now, you don't own jack squat. They can edit your music. You go back onto Spotify, the music has been edited somehow or taken off. You own nothing in this society now. So I guess back then, it was a lot cooler.
Music, but for our lives. But is the Walkman really the answer, or is it part of something bigger? Because clearly, I'm not the only one rediscovering tapes. Cassette sales have skyrocketed in recent years, with modern artists even releasing brand new albums on cassette.
Wow, gorillas are doing that? Man, I used to listen to them all the time back in college. Woo, those were the days.
Companies are noticing too, like Bio, which released their own modern cassette player, the CP13. It costs about $80 and it has USB-C charging, and honestly it sounds cleaner and clearer than my vintage Walkman. But there's one catch. It's bulky, much bulkier than the Sony Walkmans. Turns out Sony was uniquely able to manufacture these cassette players at such a compact size. Today, with Sony's factories long closed, nearly all cassette players, like the CP13, are manufactured from the same bulky designs out of a single factory in China. It makes me appreciate what the old Walkman's engineering was able to do. But what if the Walkman's legacy runs deeper? What if it didn't just change music, it changed how we experienced everything? Music became personal, private, a soundtrack experienced alone. And today, most content we consume is in the same way. Isolated scrolling on TikTok, Reddit, or YouTube. Would you watch 4 hours of TikTok if others had to watch beside you? At first, I thought using the Walkman would solve this, giving me control over what I listen to, making music intentional again. But as I used it, I realized the sense of isolation didn't go away, and it made me wonder, maybe this isn't just about the tech itself. Maybe it's about how technology shapes the way we interact. I grew up when cassettes, VHS tapes, and dial-up internet were the norm. Multiplayer games happened side by side.
Wait, you're older. I thought you were like at least... And then again, looking on you now, you look like you could be in your 30s, so I guess I was not really paying attention. Okay.
On the couch. Movies and TV were social events, and casual conversations with strangers happened naturally in public spaces. Today, we stream alone, we game with faceless players online, and we shut out the world with noise-canceling earbuds. An invisible barrier tells people, I'm busy, don't talk to me. The Walkman created...
Yeah, gotta love that.
The ability to control our social environment through technology, deciding who and who doesn't get to enter our bubble. And today, AirPods and smartphones amplify this isolation more than ever. But don't get me wrong, smartphones, earbuds, laptops, they're all wonderful inventions. They save time, they connect us, but somewhere along the way, that convenience turned into isolation. To continue exploring how past tech shapes our present, watch this next video on the Pebble Watch, a surprising comeback story that reveals even more about our modern day tech habits.
Before going to bed, try this new habit to fix your gums and teeth overnight. While examining predated
Peace.